In our notes today, we're going to take a look at graphing inequalities. So what that means is that we are going to shade on a number line all of the numbers that are solutions to an inequality. So we'll have a number line and we're going to shade any number that would make our inequality true. So let's look at an example of that. An example of an inequality might look like x, or some number, right? We know a variable stands for some number, is less than or equal to 5. So our sign here is our less than or equal sign. Remember, if you have trouble remembering which is less than and which is greater than, we read from left to right. So the smaller end of my sign comes first here. That means this is my less than sign. Another way to remember it is that the small pointy end of the sign always points to the smaller number. The big end of the sign points to the bigger number. So this would mean that x is less than or equal to 5. So let's see what that would look like on a number line. I have a number line here. I'm going to put the important number, my number 5, right in the middle of my number line. And then from there, I can label some other of these lines. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 3, 2, right? We're just labeling our number line so we kind of know where we are in our numbers. Now we want to shade all of the numbers that could be solutions to our inequality here, all of the numbers that x could be. Well, we know that x can be less than 5 or it can be equal to 5. So when I shade in on my number line, I want to know that all of these numbers that are less than 5, 4, 3, 2, those are all possible solutions because they are less than 5. But it's not just these whole numbers, right? I could have any one of these fractions or decimals in between these numbers that would also be smaller than 5. So I'm going to shade this whole part of my number line, all of the part of the number line that is less than 5. But my sign doesn't say x has to be less than 5. It says x can be less than or it can be equal to 5. So I'm also going to make sure I put a point that shades in the number 5. So my number 5 is shaded in because that is a possible answer there, and everything that was less than 5. Let's take a look at another example. It looks pretty similar, but instead of our less than or equal to, we have a greater than symbol. So again, I'm going to put my 5 right there in the center of my number line, and I can label the rest of my numbers going away from that one. Now this time my inequality tells me that I have a number, x, that is greater than 5. Notice this does not say my x can be equal to 5, just that it can be greater. So I know that all of these numbers over there, 6, 7, 8, all of those are greater than 5, but so are all of the little numbers in between, right? Our decimals and our fractions. So I'm going to shade all of these numbers that are greater than 5 because those numbers are possible solutions. Now, last time we put a big point that also shaded in the number 5. But I don't want to shade the number 5 because my answer has to be less than 5. So the way we show this in math is we are going to put a point at 5 that is an open circle. That means I'm showing that 5 is an important number here, but I'm not shading it in because it is not a part of my solution. So we only shade on our number line where we have numbers that could be a solution to our inequality, but 5 is not greater than 5. So I know I have to have an open circle on that 5. So we're going to make a little T-chart here, 2 of them, to help us remember what kind of points and circles we should use and which direction we should shade. So we used this closed circle, this shaded in circle on our important number in this first example when we saw this less than or equal to symbol. We did that because we wanted to shade the number itself because our sign has an equal to. That means even if I had the other sign with the equal to are greater than or equal to, I would also shade in that number. So I would use a closed point if I see a equal to in my inequality symbol. But if I see something like greater than or less than, I'm not going to shade in the point. I'm going to use an open circle here on the important number. Now we also need to remember when we shade to the left and when we shade to the right. Remember, we're shading all of the things that are true or could be solutions to our inequality. When you shade to the left on a number line, you're looking at things that are smaller. Remember, always on the left, we have the smaller numbers. So when I have a sign like less than or less than or equal to, I know I have to shade the numbers that are less than. That's going to be the numbers that are on the left. When I have a sign like greater than or equal to, I know I'm going to shade the numbers that are more than, or the numbers on the right. So let's practice what we are going to shade here. If I gave you the inequality that says x is less than 6, I have a little mini number line here. I'm going to put that important number 6 right in the middle of my number line. Now, I know that x can be any number that is less than 6. So 3, 4, 5, all of these wonderful numbers over here are less than 6. And now I need to decide, do I shade in 6 or do I use an open circle? Well, I can see that my inequality tells me the number has to be less than 6, not equal to 6. So I use an open circle. Take a look at this example. This time we see that x is greater than or equal to -2. I'm going to put -2 there in the middle of my number line. Remember to be really careful when you're numbering with negatives. When we go to the right, we're getting closer to 0. When we go to the left, we're getting more negative. Remember, we say in negative land, it's all backwards. So it seems backwards over here, but this is our correct number line. Now our x can be greater than or equal to -2. So numbers that are greater than -2 are these ones on the right, right? -1, 0, 1, all of those numbers are greater than our -2. And now I need to decide, do I need an open circle or a closed circle on -2? Well, in my inequality, it says x is greater than or equal to, so I want to shade in -2 as well with a closed circle. So we can show inequalities on number line by shading everything that could be a solution to our inequality.